Hi everyone, Hector here, and it's been a good while. So recently there has been a video by TheRexerShow in which he criticizes a handful of gaming YouTubers. In it, I disagree on how he conducts himself for the fact that he's not upfront about his intentions. He is very malicious and has a personal bias against a handful of these people. He's not a saint at all. He in fact has some skeletons in his own closet, and for the fact that he is much more compromised than he wants people to let on, it's something that I take issue with. Rexer has always had it out for RGT85. A couple years back, around 2022, 2023, Rexer tends to act very antagonistic towards people he dislikes. One of them was RGT85. I am going off by memory, by the way, so bear with me. RGT85 was minding his own business, and here comes Rexer being aggressive, antagonizing RGT85. He accuses him of being a bully, and RGT claps back. He makes a quote retweet saying that if he wanted to bully people, he would have done it like this. Given that, Rexer has had it out for RGT for a long time. In the community, he is viewed as someone who is bad faith and will make enemies for the sake of clicks and views. Essentially a backstabber.
I know I got keyboard warriors right now going, these guys are all good people, and how dare you, make fun. I'm not making fun of anybody. These guys are all good people. I'm not disagreeing with you, but when they enter the YouTube cesspool, they start to do their thing on YouTube. They make some horrible.
Notice how Rexer likes to act nonchalant, mild-mannered, and objective in his video. Then there's the things I'm saying, which contradicts his good guy image. I need to dedicate a section to this part because Rexer loves to act tough and pick fights. Simply talking that one instance with RGT85 alone is not enough. It has been going on for many years whenever RGT makes a tweet and Rexer always makes a jab in any way he can. This isn't banter because this is not a form of friendly teasing. Repeated one-sided attacks are not banter. No, these are attacks meant to depreciate RGT at his expense. Rexer is going out of his way to talk trash to another person. This is the real Rexer, and he will antagonize anyone he is obsessed with. In other words, Rexer has always been a spiteful douchebag to not just RGT85. In the past year, Rexer has picked up a habit of becoming too anti-Trump that much of his Twitter history is of him being spiteful about it. I see him picking fights with people and throwing insults to anyone who he disagrees with. Remember how I showcased Rexer acting mild-mannered? Take a look at all his tweets and it shows a different side of him throwing insults and being disrespectful to a lot of people. He spends a lot of time maliciously mocking other people for their different opinions. There's a lot more to this than I am showing because Rexer takes so much time out of his day to be spiteful towards anyone he disagrees with. I would argue that Rexer is terminally online because of how much he argues with others. No joke, Rexer has an obsession with making enemies out of people who he disagrees with. Every time Rexer finds someone he dislikes, the outcome is identical: fixation, mockery, and antagonism. SmashDT, for example, had to put up with Rexer's shitty behavior a handful of times. Just recently, SmashDT had his main account hijacked and Rexer expresses glee mocking him. Naturally, SmashDT responds and Rexer continually throws attacks. This is not the mild-mannered character that Rexer portrays himself in his videos because it's all a facade. He's an obsessive and spiteful man who holds personal vendettas towards people he dislikes. This is not a lapse in judgment or a bad year on Twitter. This is who Rexer is when he's comfortable being himself, and that's why this deserved its own section. Now, he also talks about John Riggs, and I'm not too familiar with the guy, but his name has popped up a handful of times. But in that section, Rexer did make a good point on how he was against this product, and then later on, when he was getting too attached to the company, his views have changed. This is where Rexer fails to understand that he himself is compromised, more so in that he's not bought out by people, but he has these personal beliefs and biases that affects his greater judgment. I already mentioned how he has it out for RGT85, but it is also true for Smash GT. Now, Rexer is somebody who will make an enemy out of you, and that's something I have repeated plenty of times already. And I remember when we were in the same Discord server, Rexer would go out his way to pick fights with Smash GT, bring up his wife, bring up his kids, which were attacks that came from out of nowhere. Not only that, he was also using the same talking points from someone that was very infamous, Darius Truxton. The best way to put it is that Darius Truxton, he's the worst of the worst. I do not want to waste time talking about Darius Truxton, so instead, I'll just post links to videos talking about him and the things he's done. Just check in the description.
Now, the hypocrisy stems from this guy, Smash JT, spent years doing exactly this, harassing people on YouTube nonstop. New women YouTubers, newcomers. He hated women. He would do videos on them, trying to stop them from doing YouTube videos, whether it was Destiny FOMO or that McKenna girl back in the day. The guy was a all-out harasser, nonstop. He had people who doxed people. He doxed people. Anybody remember the Tipster video? Everything that he was whining about, he had done that for years to every single other YouTuber out there. The hypocrisy is off the charts. I wish that Tipster video was still live, but if you could see it, you would go, oh my God, this guy's the biggest hypocrite POS there is. Right now going, these guys are all good people, and how dare you, make fun. I'm not making fun of anybody. These guys are all good people. I'm not disagreeing with you. These guys are all good people. I'm not disagreeing with you. These guys are all good people. I'm not disagreeing with you.
What?
So about Tipster and why he's a problem as a source. He's earned his reputation for his own actions. He's a liar. He's a very dishonest person, disingenuous. He likes to embellish things, and he's a hypocrite. I could go on because it's a long list. But this is where Rexer has made a mistake. Tipster is also a compromised source. He hates Smash JT with a passion. Now, there's also the claim that Smash JT harasses women and still uses Tipster as a source. Funny how Rexer does not include that Tipster stalked and harassed Suzy Liu for a long time. 30 plus videos that are all gone. Rexer does not talk about it. So not only is Rexer guilty of being a compromised person with a personal vendetta, he uses a compromised source and willful ignorance to his own benefit. Speaking of hypocrisies, Rexer has alleged that Smash JT has harassed women and other people. I have already established that TheRexerShow has an obsession with people he dislikes and antagonizes them. By doing what he did, that is also considered harassment. Very hypocritical. And to end this section about Rexer's hypocrisies, I want to use this tweet as the final example. In it, you see Rexer criticize Overthink Gaming for allegedly being a doxer, pro-doxer, and allegedly being associates with people who dox. But here's the thing. TheRexerShow is openly conversing with Darius Truxton, who is a notorious doxer and someone who harasses women. Let that sink in. For years, Arcade1UP has hit a sour spot with TheRexerShow. I have no interest in getting into detail of what happened, but I want to put into perspective of what Rexer is up to. I have established that Rexer has an obsession with people who he dislikes. He loves to antagonize people and make enemies out of them, and he's a hypocrite. He loves to go on his channel, be critical of Arcade1UP, of the products, the company, and the people involved in the scene. It could be the community or the workers. On Twitter, he loves to do more to an extreme measure. Given Rexer's hateful obsession, Arcade1UP has been no different. I should also mention the lawsuit that Rexer hyped up on his channel where he sued Arcade1UP. I'm not going to go into detail of why or how he got into it, but it resulted in him losing. The judge that presided over it dismissed it with prejudice, handing Rexer an L. Long after the lawsuit has happened, Rexer still molds about Arcade1UP. I do not care if you like or dislike the cabinets. I will not bat for Arcade1UP. But I do take an issue with Rexer's behavior, not with just Arcade1UP, but with everything else. He's a toxic and malicious person. All this should be enough to prove that. Whether he's trying to portray himself in those videos, it's all a facade because he wants to be viewed as a good guy. When you look at him in the big picture, he himself is also a flawed person. And for him to criticize all these other people just seems very hypocritical. So I should just finish up this video, and I want to end it with some advice. Rexer, I know you're probably going to have people watching it, and you're probably watching yourself. I'm going to block you from my channel. I do not want to be associated with you in any capacity other than this video. You're not going to be able to comment on my channel. Lastly, I also want to talk about the compromise. Rexer, you are a very compromised person. You have a personal bias against all these people. Do not act as if you are being objective. You will have it out for these people. I know the type of person you are, and you are very malicious. You're taking information from Darius, Truxton, and Tipster, people who are also malicious and disingenuous. My best advice is just relax. Do not take YouTube too seriously. It's just a hobby. Some people have made it into a job, but that job doesn't ultimately affect you. Focus on other things that's more important, like taxes, job, making money. But aside from that, just relax, dude.